When they hear fireworks, we feel like that the people around us, our neighbors or whatever, they bought extra fireworks just to upset our dogs. Hey, it's Gary with Natural Instinct Dog Training, and I want to talk to everyone about something that's coming up here real soon, which is July 4th. And we all know that July 4th comes with lots of people gathering together, but when it comes to our dogs, it's about the fireworks. Now, I know we all feel like, especially when we have dogs that might be nervous or anxious, when they hear fireworks, we feel like that the people around us, our neighbors or whatever, they bought extra fireworks just to upset our dogs. The truth is they're just setting off fireworks and having fun. The reality to our dogs is not that they're necessarily afraid of fireworks. It's more that the fireworks sound, the smell in the air, the impact, the sonic boom of when those really big ones go off. We've got flashing lights coming in from outside. We've also got a vibration in the atmosphere that they don't understand and they don't expect. The reality is, what actually scares our dogs when it comes to fireworks is the unpredictability of them. So me being from Orlando, Florida, I've worked with people that have dogs that are scared of fireworks, and I've also worked with people that have dogs that could care less about the fireworks going off. Granted, 90% of those people, they all live close to that big amusement park that likes to set off fireworks every night. So those dogs are used to hearing fireworks on a regular basis, which to them is normal. They were a little puppy and the noises went off and they got used to it. Now, this doesn't mean that every single dog that grows up or is raised around where there's fireworks, they're not sensitive, because it can happen. But more importantly, it's understanding that the difference between dogs that can get nervous when fireworks are going off, thunderstorms, things like that, it's more out of unpredictability. So to the dogs, it's almost like someone just showed up and decided to give you a new roof unexpectedly. There's going to be a lot of noise, a lot of banging, a lot of things going on that's going to make them feel like this is unpredictable, the sky is falling, so on and so forth. So let's talk about some of the things people like to do. One of the most common things people like to do is look at their dogs when they get scared and say, "It's okay." Then we might try to medicate them, whether that's different prescription drugs that we get from our veterinarian, and sometimes those can help. They don't really get rid of the problem, but they can help. The dogs just want to take a nap. There's good old Benadryl that people will give their dogs because it makes them tired. I'm even more cautious of Benadryl now. I've seen some recent studies that is tying the use of Benadryl in humans to dementia in humans. I haven't seen any studies in how that relates to dogs, but I'm going to be a lot more cautious about Benadryl moving forward, because the last thing I would want is a dog that's anxious to also have dementia. This is going to make things a lot worse. Now, the use of CBD oil, I've seen people have success with that. In all of that, we're just kind of masking the problem. If we could just put our dogs in this little bubble or a little cocoon so they didn't hear the fireworks, well, they probably wouldn't be as scared. Most often what happens is our dogs go and hide to try to get away from the fireworks. Realistically, there's not a whole lot of places they can hide. They're still going to feel them. There's still going to be the light flashing. And then, of course, if we're worried about our dogs being upset, it's really common for us to get upset, for us to become frantic, and we're not really giving our dogs what they need. So what I want everyone to know are the things that we can do to prepare for the fireworks. Something I've told clients to do for years is to start adjusting your environment. So if you happen to like action movies or sci-fi movies or whatever, where there's lots of different things blowing up, perfect. The week, 2 weeks, whatever, here's your excuse to watch all your favorite action movies a little bit higher volume and let those things become normal, where there's explosions and lights flashing and those kind of things happening prior to July 4th coming. It's so often people will try to make this perfect, quiet little meditative kind of bubble where they're playing peaceful music and trying to keep things really quiet. And the more you walk around on pins and needles, the more our dogs are going to notice the variances when those actual fireworks are going off. We're making it worse. If we want to balance what they think is going on, I don't need you to turn your stuff up too loud, but watching those fun action movies and so on leading up to it, the dog starts getting this sense of, okay, I guess it's just noisy around here, and they become a little more accustomed to it. I've also seen where people will try to calm their dogs, whether they're trying to put them in a more relaxed state or whether it's playing music or just putting a hand on them and so on. It's not that those things can't work to help comfort our dogs, but first and foremost, we have to understand what's important to our dogs and how they receive feelings of stability and security. Now, we can do things like telling them to go to their place. We can use some obedience commands. We can tell them to sit, lay down, so on and so forth. We can let them go in their kennel and we might put an extra blanket on it. We're just masking. We're just buffering. First and foremost, exposure is always the most important thing. And then being more and more used to the random noises, hence the movies and things like that. But in with that is the way we see giving comfort versus the way they receive comfort. So often we will end up sensitizing them to the fireworks like we would sensitize them, you could say, to us setting a boundary or a correction or something like that. So if I was going to, I don't know, let's say using a squirt gun to set a boundary, the dog goes for my sandwich and I tell them, leave it. And they don't, I'm making direct eye contact, I'm speaking directly to them. If they don't, leave it, and I squirt them. They stop, good dogs. You could say that's classic way of setting a boundary. It's how our parents did it, it's how their parents did it. Whether you're working with horses or goats or anything, it's a standard form of communication. The problem is we don't think about how desensitizing works. Now, in the horse world, it's a really common thing. When you're talking about a prey animal, an animal that instinctually flees whenever it's unsure about something. So if I'm working with a horse and I want to practice, I don't know, say mounted shooting from that horse, a natural response to a horse when it hears a large, loud, sonic boom type of noise, gunshot, their instinct is, I'm out of here, flight. So if I want to be able to ride a horse and shoot my gun, I'm going to need that horse desensitized to the gunshot going off. The way we do this with horses, and the way it's been done for years and years, is I need to expose them to the gunshot and not have a I'm part of the conversation type response. So I might be out in the field with the horses. I'm looking the opposite direction and I fire off my gun. No matter what the horse does, I'm going to kind of ignore it. And in essence, I'm going to fire the gun and I'm going to walk away from the horse. I'm going to move away from that encounter. The horse is going to look to where it came from, and whatever they associated with the noise, if it's moving away from them, they're going to start feeling like, okay, it's not my problem. It's not going to be directly associated with them. As I get closer and closer to the horse, I'm firing my gun and I'm not looking at the horse. It kind of makes sense. If you've never done it before, you can probably visualize it a little bit. If you've done it before, then you know exactly what I'm talking about. But when it comes to our dogs, if there's a loud noise and they spook, the very first, most common response people do is they look directly at their dog. It's okay. We think we're comforting them, but we're doing the exact opposite. If I was, I don't know, with you right now, and as I'm talking, I'm kind of looking around your house, and as I'm looking around, I don't know, I take my cell phone and I slam it on the ground. You might think there's something wrong with me, I'm upset, whatever. But you're not going to take it as a direct association to you. You might be curious, but you're not going to take it as a direct association. However, if I'm there with you right now and I'm talking and I'm looking around and I slam my phone down and say, it's okay. Just by me looking at you, I made it more of a direct association to you. That make a little bit of sense? So if the fireworks go off, if the thunder goes off and the dog spooks, what I want you to do is purposefully not make an association. So my dog's sitting over here on this side of me and the fireworks go off, the dog jumps. I want you to look away, lean away. When the dog settles a little bit, you can look back at them. Now you can say something like, it's okay. But when you say it, don't reach for them. Don't try to grab them. I want you to lean away from them. What you're doing is you're making sure that they're not associating the fireworks with you trying to have a direct conversation with them. That way we're not making a bad problem worse. Now, the other part of this is, how do we comfort them? Now, we can try to, I don't know, maybe let's meditate with our dogs. Could that be beneficial? That's a whole other rabbit hole we could go down, but parts of it could be. If I'm being very still and stationary, my dog's going to see me as something stable and constant. So that part of it can be something. If I'm asking my dog to stay still and be stationary, that can also provide comfort. Stability and security give an animal, give all creatures a sense of safety. Safety, it's okay, is something that when we apply pressure to it, it doesn't give. Stability, security, the ground we walk on, the chair you're sitting in, and so on. So by doing things, you could even go through basic obedience commands. Sit, down, off, whatever those commands are. By doing that, we're kind of bumping into our dogs, so to speak, and we're reminding them that we can keep them safe. So the thunder shirts, sometimes they help. The problem is, it's just like when we put on a heavy coat in the winter, we feel like we can barely walk around when we first put it on, but then the more we wear it, the more we get comfortable. That immediate sense of pressure, application of the thunder shirt, can give the dog a false sense of stability and security. But if my dog comes over to me when there's fireworks going off, the harder they lean into me, the harder that I pet them, that I push into them. I'm not telling them necessarily to go away, but they're coming into me and leaning into me because they want to feel stability and security. Little exercises we can go through leading up to July 4th. Again, loud noises, loud movies, those kind of things, but also ramp up your obedience a little bit leading up to July 4th, leading up to all the fireworks. By doing this, we're reminding our dogs that we can keep them safe, we can keep them stable. Even a little bit, all depending on your dog, little desensitizing exercises. So I might accidentally drop a pot or a pan in the kitchen. It might spook the dog. Look the other way. It has nothing to do with the dog. When the dog's settled, oh, good boy. We're helping them understand the randomness and the noises. It's just part of life, and it has nothing to do with them. I really hope this helps. And if you need to go back and watch this again, I know I just dumped out a lot of information for you, but if you follow these steps, this is really going to help your dog naturally feel better, feel safer, and feel more secure when things like fireworks, thunderstorms, and whatnot happen. If you've enjoyed this video or you think this will help anyone you know, please like, subscribe, follow, and share this video with as many people as you like, because I did this to try to help as many people as I can. Y'all have a great day, and we'll be making more content real soon.